Quick note before we get started. This video is actually the second part of a video that we shot earlier. But when we got back from putting the kids to bed, the topic changed so drastically we decided to break it up into two videos. Hope you enjoy.
All right, kids are in bed. We restarted the app just to be on the safe side. We're going to see if this works this time. Hopefully we don't end on the last video where it's just
Suddenly cut off.
suddenly. Well, we the last one when we talked about the woes of homesteading. We did the same thing. We went and tucked the kids into bed, and then we recorded it with the app, and all of a sudden the app shut down violently, killed itself, and when it did that, it did not save our video. So hopefully this time it saves the video, because it says we have still about 36 minutes worth of recording time. Battery's good. It's after 9 o'clock, so hopefully no friends call, because that also messes up with my app. I do have to remember to put on Do Not Disturb when I record these videos, but I keep forgetting to do that. What's up?
You can usually set it on your watch.
Yeah, but I gotta set the phone. I have to set to Do Not Disturb.
If I set on my watch, my phone.
You have a very nice watch.
My watch and phone are the same.
You have Gen 3. I got a Gen
goodness.
1 watch.
Here we go again.
No, I'm not complaining. I like my watch. I got mine for free, which was nice. That was I don't know if I ever talked about that on this app, so.
I'm going to do that again.
Do what?
You can talk about it separate so we don't get too sidetracked.
Oh, sidetracking's fine. That's what these videos are all about. No, so as all you guys know, I'm a paramedic, born and raised and loved and all that. There was a study done to research about paramedics' eating habits. Believe it or not, some of us, I don't know who, use food as a coping mechanism. So I entered into this scientific study where they studied my eating habits and my bacterial levels in my stomach. They actually found that, the study, I actually got to read it, that EMSers have a specific bacteria that they form in their stomach due to all the gas station food and crap they eat. Which was kind of fun to read about and learn about. But as part of it, I got a free iWatch, and I had to download a program, and on that program, it could detect like if I was getting stressed out and I pressed a button, and someone from the research team would contact me and we'd talk about my day and talk about my eating habit and try to coach me through it. And it was a fun little study. I got a free iWatch out of it, and actually learned some interesting stuff about the shitty eating habits of EMS.
Meanwhile, I got mine for Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Very disappointing Mother's Day gift because I bought it and then realized that it wouldn't connect to the current phone I had. So it was not disappointing in the watch, but it was disappointing in the fact that I couldn't use the watch without spending a bunch of money to buy the next phone. So that was very frustrating.
Yeah, shucks, you got a brand new phone and a brand new watch.
No, but it was very disappointing because I was like, I had gotten an older version of the watch because I thought it would work with my phone, which was already an older version, and I did not want to upgrade. And then I ended up having to spend more money because I was already on the fence about spending that much for a watch.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up having to buy a new phone.
And then that same summer, you accused me of killing my phone. So
you walked into the swimming
we
pool.
opened up the pool. I was all excited. I had the watch. My swim trunks had a phone pocket, which it didn't even dawn on me that was a dumb
not
idea.
smart.
Ran right into the pool, splashed around, had some fun. I think the water was only like 60 degrees.
I don't know, but you realized, like, you
So
stepped into the
stepped
pool and
in,
knew.
I
Like,
jumped
you,
right out.
Yeah.
That was a dumb idea. So
Yeah.
I got my phone upgraded that summer. That a
Yep.
few months after I got my
just
phone
a few months
upgraded.
later. Yeah.
Which we're being told now we have to upgrade our phones again because pretty soon here they will not support our versions of phone. Go gadget capitalism.
All right.
But anyhow, back to the excuse me, the church.
Yes.
We're talking about the church and.
Okay, so yes, it does have a strong Bible element, which I actually really enjoy. I do not completely enjoy the versions of the Bible that come with the curriculum. Actually, there's been more than once where we have gotten our own Catholic
We've
Bible
got a
out
separate Catholic
and
Bible.
compared the passages, which is actually a very good exercise anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very interesting way to see how translations change.
Even how different religions will read the Bible, because it's very some of the stories are drastically different. Like, I was surprised the kids were sharing some of the Bible passages they read from their school Bible with me. I'm like, that is not what the King James
Yep.
Bible has.
Well, and it's nice because even though it comes with a Bible per curriculum, that's really more for your convenience. And so any of the Bible passages can be read in any form of a Bible. So this year we actually did get each of the kids their own Bible based on their age and ability level for reading and comprehension. So Fairy Dancer has a slightly easier version
Easier
of the
challenge.
Bible than
That has a
Bible
cover you're
Rule.
supposed to cover, but she just can't
She
color.
can't bring herself to
Can't
color
bring
it.
herself to color the Bible, which is cute. I got a little kick out of that.
So, and then, our teens have special teen Bible, which they seem to really appreciate. They seem to like it. But then they can look up the passages in a King James version, which is more of the Catholic Bible. I mean, we also have the St. Joseph edition, which is different than the King James version. And that's what our church actually gave to all of their
Yep.
CCD members. So we actually, when we compare, because we have a Bible that's not exactly a children's Bible, but it's kind of that intermediary between a teen Bible and a children's Bible. And so that's the one we normally read, which is more of a Protestant take on the Bible. I can't remember the version. Maybe it's New International Version, maybe.
That sounds familiar, yeah.
And so we have that one. But then if there's like something that is glaringly like, wait a minute, that says that Jesus had 4 brothers, or that
Yeah.
said, then we take out our St. Joseph edition and we read the same information, because we always read, you're not required obviously, but we always read the introductions. So if there's an introduction to the letter to the Corinthians, the Thessalonians and all that, we read the introductions to get the background. And there's been more than once where we read the introduction in one of those Bibles and we're like, that doesn't seem quite right. So then we get the St. Joseph or the King James and we read that introduction and we compare them and discuss why it's different and how it's different.
Which is a great activity, like you've alluded to. That's really to show them there is a difference. Like when you go, like I know me growing up, like the Bible was to me the Bible. There was no other version. And then when I got into probably late high school, early college, I remember I went to his house, which I was advised I should go to. Every good Christian needs to go to his house, which is an international, at least a national. I said, maybe it's not international. It's an international fraternity, Christian organization, if you want. And I got in lots of fights with the prior of the group, the pastor. I don't think he was an actor. Maybe he was a pastor.
I think he was an actual pastor.
He could be an actual pastor. Could be. So I mean, that was something that kind of dawned on me. I mean, I got a little taste of that when I went to Maryland, and we had our fire talks where we had a Jewish person, a Seventh-day Adventist, a Protestant, me as the Catholic, an agnostic, and a straight up atheist, someone who's, she was new age, so it was the spirit animals and shit like that, which was fun. That was fun to see the different interpretations. Even like I didn't, that's not in my Bible. I remember a lot of people would say that's not in my Bible.
Yeah. And you never believe that statement until then you actually start reading different versions of the Bible. And actually, in our next core, next year we'll be reading a book called In Search of the Source. And it really explains why Bibles are translated the way they are. Because a lot of translations are based on the culture of the language that they're being translated into. And my favorite example is there's a passage in the Bible that talks about how if you love your children, you wouldn't throw snakes at them. Like you wouldn't give them snake to eat, because the Hebrew, the snake crawls on its belly, and it is like the most, like, it's
Vile,
a vile, despised, gross animal.
In Exodus, it's very big about, the serpents bite the people, and it's not until you believe in God again can you be healed of the serpent's bite.
So in Search of the Source, these are, I want to say missionaries, living among a people, I can't remember in what country, but they're living among a tribal people. And he was trying to explain this passage to them, and they had spent years living with this group of people. And he was trying to explain the passage, and they're like, why wouldn't we throw a snake at our child, like to eat? Because in their culture, these snakes are actually like
delicacies.
They're delicacies. They're amazing food, and it's like if they can get one of these snakes and feed it to their child is like guaranteed to be healthy for a while. And so when they were translating the Bible into that particular language, they actually had to change the Bible passage because throwing snakes at these children would actually be a good thing, and they're trying to intimate that it's a bad thing. So they actually have to find something in that culture that would be bad to feed their children. And and that is why Bibles are translated so differently. Yeah. It's very cultural based and language based. What is proper in this specific language versus that one, which the kids and I have talked about before, but it's fun because Sunlight does incorporate that into the curriculum. The kids have asked that we not read the missionary stories after this last one, which I think we will start switching for saint stories. But some of the saint stories are pretty brutal too, so you know. But yeah, so.
I mean, at least with the saint ones, though, even when they're horribly martyred, it's a happy ending because they're definitely with God and they're now a saint, and you know people pray to them. Where these missionaries ones, the one you were telling me about, where the guy had like
Adoniram Judson.
Yeah, where like 3 of his wives died out of 16 kids. I think like only 4 lived, and but there's no happy ending. He's not made a saint in the Catholics where he's like, now we revere and respect him. I mean, maybe I'm sure in his religion
he's revered and respected in the Baptist religion.
It's not the same. I mean, it's not like you pray to him for intercession or.
Well, and most
it's not even implied. At least my understanding that it's like he sits right next to God, where the saints we believe sit with Jesus, sit with God, and come back and help you out. Him, it's just like he did what he had to do
for the people of Burma.
Yeah, for the people of Burma. So
I just and I feel the kids' response to those because it's like this very depressing story, and you read saint stories, and of course there's martyrs. And for me, as a parent, some of it is that most of the saints are single and they don't have children that are put in these.
Is there any saint that actually had kids? I think
yes.
Is there? Okay, I can't think about the top
well,
of
because Berettamola. I can't remember her first name right now. Gina Berettamola.
Okay.
Gianna Berettamola. She actually was the one who was pregnant with like her 4th child, and she had something going on, some uterine infection or something. And so she was given 2 choices. She could have an abortion, and then she'd be able to have children later, or she could continue with the pregnancy, but the drain on her body would almost 100% kill her. And so she's actually the saint of mothers, I believe. And so yes, you have married saints and stuff, and you have of course martyrs. But I don't know. I just like in this one with Adoniram Judson, like his first wife, she dies because of the conditions of Burma and gets very ill. All 3 of their children die in infancy because of the malnutrition in Burma. And then his second wife, they have...
I guess he should have fed them snakes.
Yeah, right. They had 11 kids, or she had 11 kids, 4 with her first husband, which only 1 survives infancy. And then she has 6 kids with him, and I think of those 6, only 4 survive into adulthood, or 5. And then his third wife, she has 2 children, and only 1 survives. And then, of course, he dies, and she comes back to the States. So... I mean, I just, as a parent, I can't imagine, and a lot of their kids they actually send back to the States to be raised by other people. but this is the 1800s. This is 1812
Yeah.
when that story takes place. So, well, when that takes place, it's a biography. So, I mean, times were much different, but I still, as a parent, like to me, that's astonishing. Like, I think my first child dies because of the conditions, and I would probably come back to America.
Right.
So I am in awe of their commitment to the Burmese people and everything, but I'm also kind of like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if I could do that. And you don't see that as much in the saints. Like, a lot of them actually give up their life for it, but you know,
Yeah.
like I think Saints Damien, Saints Cosmas, they went and helped lepers
Yeah, Damien went to the leper colony
and died there. But it's he was making a commitment to God himself.
Well, he was also a priest
and he
too.
was a priest.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're not taking innocent children into the mix, and I mean, I'm sure there are saint stories where there are innocent children in the mix, but most of the missionary stories we have read like this, like where children die, children are like not sacrificed, but they suffer greatly because of mom and dad's decision to become missionaries or whatever. And I know that they probably show that to highlight the commitment.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
But also, some of that you just can't candy coat.
Yep.
So, the kids have requested not to read the missionary stories anymore. They've requested to read saint stories, which is fine with me. We actually have gone through these cores before with Ashman and Swedish Compass. So, Wild and Free Wolf and Fairy Dancer, I've heard them.
Yeah.
So switching them with saint stories will just kind of make it more interesting. I just have to like do a little research to get the ones for the right.
Now it's really funny. So we brought this. I don't want to say issue challenge. We'll use the word challenge is nice. We actually brought this challenge to a few religious people in the last town we lived in, including a priest and then two people who were in charge of the
Fusion small groups.
Yeah. What's the name of the you evangelize the
Stewards?
Stewards? No, it's it's on the tip of my tongue. Where you? Oh hell! It's,
I'm thinking stewardship and evangelization.
Evangelization. No, it's the RCIA team. They were head of the RCIA team.
Oh, I didn't know they were head of the RCIA.
I thought they were head of the They definitely were strong into the RCIA, but they were definitely stewards and evangels. And the first thing they tell you is, well, just write your own curriculum. Like,
yeah, that was the first thing they said. Why don't you write your own product?
Just write your own version of the Bible or the version of this teaching, which is doable, but that is a multi-year commitment.
And a lot of research. And when you're in the midst of trying to teach, you don't really have the time to do 3 years of research for every core. So, I mean, maybe by the time our youngest are going through it.
Which is sad because I know the one I brought this up to a religious group I was a part of because there were some homeschoolers in there. I was like, well, you know, what do you have any recommendations of, like, you know, good Catholic curriculums that we could switch to? And they kept going to the Chesterfield, was that his name?
There's Chester Academy.
Yeah, Chester Academy, which is what the local high school is now using. They're the Chester Academy.
Maybe there's that might not be the right name, but yeah.
I think that is, and
there's Queen of Mary, and there's Seton, and there's Catholic Heritage Curriculum. There's actually quite a few Catholic curriculums that are very nice, but they have the same problem that Timberdoodle had, where they're highly workbook based, and we seem to be thriving on a literature based curriculum. So I do actually supplement usually with Seton stuff, which actually is kind of your little complaint about last year. It was because I added the Catholic element by buying Seton 2 years ago, and then it actually took us almost a year and a half to get through those books. And then this year we actually supplemented with the TAN Bible supplement, which that was awesome. I'm definitely doing that next year because we did Old Testament and they also have a New Testament version, and it comes with if you buy the whole set. It comes with the audio CD, so it's not just somebody reading boring through the book. It's actually got sound effects and background music, and so it's very engaging, like a real audiobook would be. And then it has the teacher's guide, test booklet, activity booklet, and worksheets, and so it's a very involved curriculum. But I think the one we did this year for Old Testament was 22 weeks long, or 22 chapters. We did it in like 26 weeks because we kind of, we extended it just a little bit. But it was great. Like, the kids loved it. All of the kids actually could participate in it. So it's great for multiple levels. And it went through the whole Old Testament, all the big events of the Old Testament, the prophets, and it was nice because it also came with a lecture series, so they could watch the lectures on DVD. So it hit all of those. If you have the check boxes, like if you were to try to hit all the check boxes of a curriculum, it comes with this and that and everything. It came with everything, and it's very Catholic, so it was perfect, which was nice because with Sunlight we don't get the Catholic element as much unless I add it in. And sometimes when I add it in, because it's not in my daily schedule, we forget to do it. So this is nice because it's got its own daily schedule. It's just preset, and it's nice and open and go, but we can still talk about it. Like it gives us time to discuss it. So definitely one of the kids' favorites. Like, they're all planning these huge Bible presentations for once the end of the school year hits.
School year, big Bible lessons. Can't wait.
Yeah, so they're all very
Noah's Ark being taught. I know that. I saw that prep.
Noah's Ark, the parting of the Red Sea, and Moses. I think Fairy Dancer might be doing the Garden of Eden.
Oh, is she? I thought she was the one doing Noah.
No, I think that's Wild and Free Wolf.
Oh, okay.
And then I can't remember what Swedish Compass picked. I can't remember. I can't remember which one she chose, but yeah, so they're all like doing these big Bible, and they have to have a test as their final, so they all have to write a test, they all have to practice presenting and having an activity and a snack that goes with it and all that stuff, so they're having a lot of fun with it. So.
Although next year, now we found that one of our local big box stores, I'm not going to say the name because they don't need advertising, now has a Jewish food section, so the kids got to try matzo balls.
Those are cool.
Yeah, those are fun. Which is something I wish we could find. I know when we were back in the Sioux, there was a temple. There was a Jewish temple that we could actually go to. I think it was actually in Canada, but there's a bit of a Jewish community. There really isn't here. I'd really like the kids to go to some sort of Jewish celebration, because especially now we're watching The Chosen, which talks about Sabbath and
Lashima.
Yeah, Lashima, and some of the other traditions. They're talking about the different Passover, which of course Catholics have heard of. But I actually got invited to a Passover meal when I was in Maryland because I worked around a lot of Jewish people. It was just an amazing.
Well, it's fun because they're learning. We are watching The Chosen. That's kind of our Lenten family thing to do. And it's cool because we're seeing the religion that Jesus grew up in. And Jesus practiced. Like, Jesus actively practiced.
He wasn't very Jewish. He was a rabbi.
Yeah. So it's really fun to see, like, those roots. And a lot of it does. Like, a lot of Catholic tradition is based off
you can
of
trace
those roots. So it's kind of really fun to see. I don't know that I would want to practice all of them.
No.
But I do think it's really interesting to see that this is what Jesus grew up with. This was his, how he was raised.
Well, it does kind of show some of the traditions, like you said, the Catholic traditions that are based off of the Jewish traditions. Yeah. It is one of the things I really wish we could find a Jewish family here and get ourselves invited to some of their celebrations, because.
Well, yeah, and it's eye-opening because, when you read the Bible, you read about the Pharisees and the Samaritans and the Sadducees, and you read about it, but you don't realize how similar and yet how different all of the different groups were that were actually putting Jesus on trial and angry with him for his gospel and his message and
Yeah,
his
what he was
teaching.
saying.
So it's really, really interesting watching The Chosen because it shows a. I'm not going to say it does a fantastic job of showing those differences, but you can actually see the differences, and they discuss them, maybe not in depth, but enough that you can get a good sense that
Yeah, you know what's going on.
they have different ways of practicing, which is pretty cool to me. I've always read those passages in the Bible and not really understood that. Okay, well, there's differences.
Yeah.
You know? So it's kind of interesting to see that some of them have only the Book of Moses, some of them, go through the Psalms, some of them, read all the different parts. So, to me, that was actually eye-opening. I think the kids are getting a lot out of The Chosen. I think I'm getting a lot out of it.
Oh, I know I'm getting a lot out of it. I definitely like how it's presented. Like I haven't talked about, so I never watched episode 1. I actually skipped right to episode 2, which again I'm really into videography and film theory, and in episode 2, they have where at the end, Mary Magdalene is hosting her first Shabbat dinner. Which it was, there was a scene in there where well, do you want me to read your notes? And it's well, no, my father taught me how to read, which you didn't realize that wasn't done. Women were not taught to read. And the one guy was just shocked. He's like, oh, you know how to read? Wow. Which was cool, but then they have the introduction of Jesus, which cinematically, this was just a beautiful introduction of his character. I mean, I'll be the first to say I despise religious videos because I feel they're just so disingenuous, and Jesus comes in and he's this nothing can go wrong, nothing can, he never fails, he never trips, he never stumbles, he never bruises himself, every situation is just perfect. And so what happens is you have the there's the blind lady and the
Shula and
Barnaby, who are
Mary invites them.
And they're very much put out as
not the most
unworthy.
wholesome.
Yeah, they're they're which is cool. And then you have 2 rabbi students, so 2 students who are invited to her Shabbat. They just kind of end up there. It's not. Really
I was gonna say they're not
told.
Invited. They just they're told that they could get Shabbat dinner
get Shabbat
there, and
dinner
so they show up.
Which is interesting because we actually had that when we were in the Sioux. That's a big thing, having candidate priests actually go to dinners.
Or Mormons.
Huh?
Or Mormons.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one later. But we had a couple of candidate priests. I think we had 2.
I don't know.
At least 2 candidate priests actually come to our house, and we were, to put on a dinner and do a little prayer service. One of them, I think, gave a lesson, didn't they? Or did they both do a lesson?
I don't know.
I want to say they both did a semi.
know.
One, no, is the first one had a lesson because our priest told me he had to. The second one wasn't told to, but then he found the first guy did, so he's like, well, I'll do a quick ad hoc lesson, which is really cool.
Which used video games.
Huh?
One of them used video games.
Yeah. I think it was the first one.
Minecraft seems to pop into my head.
It was something.
It
was good. I mean, it wasn't like, oh my god, so...
It was just cute.
It was good. It was good. It was definitely the first one who did video games because he knew he was going to a bunch of kids who liked video games, and so he kind of geared his lecture towards that, which was really neat. The second one, I felt bad. I think I kind of... he was kind of on the spot of doing a little lesson, which was cool. But that was very much, that was a tradition. There isn't actually been seminarians at the local churches, at least that we go to. So
I don't think so. We've had the priest out and stuff.
Yeah, we've had the priest out, of course. But, so anyhow, in The Chosen, they have these 2 seminarians. I'm going to call them that. That's not actually the name they use, but that's
they're just
what I'm going
students,
with.
I think is what they're called.
And it was just how they presented Jesus is he shows up and Mary Magdalene knows that this is the person that healed him, doesn't know his name, or healed her and doesn't know his name, and he's at the door and he's like, "Can I come in?" And it's an awkward situation. It's so awkward. It's so yes, of course. I don't know why I didn't invite you in, but yes, come on in. And then you have the 2 students who are like,
Our teacher.
Our teacher is here. That'd be like, you show up and you also your math teacher, your
But
doctoral.
well, they knew he was coming, I think.
I don't think so.
I
Just
think
their response, because they were like, teacher, you're.
But what was interesting is, so Mary Magdalene, by this time, she'd fallen away from the church after her father died. And the only thing she really remembers about Shabbat dinner is that her mom used to set a place for Elijah. And so all the spots are taken because she has Shula and Barnaby, and then these two surprise seminarians or students show up. And then Jesus shows up, and Jesus takes the spot that she had set.
You're stealing my seminary. You're
Elijah.
stealing my videography. Yeah, Jesus takes Isaac's spot. Did it again. The damn app crashed out, but it saved it, so I think we're good to go. Maybe not. Maybe that's actually. No, I think I deleted both of those. So this should be. We're good. We're good. So So Mary Magdalene, or Jesus, sits at Elijah's spot, which is the great prophet, and it just really sets up his character. It's beautifully done.
I have to say, I haven't watched a lot of religious series that aren't childish. Like I watch a lot of the kids series with them. So this is actually the first one I've seen that has real people in it. Probably that has people, and it's very engaging. I've enjoyed it enough that we actually bought season 2.
We bought season
That's
2.
unheard of
Yes.
for us. So yeah, the kids are enjoying it. I think we're all learning a lot, and if nothing else, we're learning a lot about that time period, which is hard to get from the Bible, like without a lot of intense study outside of the Bible, just to study the culture and the history. So it's really nice to have that visual representation.
Yeah, and it's even like later on. So the next season is when he's preaching to children.
In the next episode.
The next episode he's preaching to children, which is pretty cool. That really sets up that he's really about children. He's having these kids help him. But the thing that like kind of shocked me. I mean, it makes complete sense, but at the same time, you never thought about it. It's like, well, why are you building these? Well, I have to eat, so I sell these to rich people who then give me food so I can eat. And you don't think about that. Like, yeah, Jesus would have had to
do something to
make ends meet, and of course he'd use his carpentry skills to build fish traps and toys.
Which is interesting because in the letters of like the Corinthians and the Thessalonians and all of those, Paul talks about how we never took anything from you. We worked for our due, and then we gave,
But you never, in the Bible, it never says, well, Jesus made 16 chairs and so that he could afford for some bread and wine and cheese. Goat cheese apparently was his favorite according to this.
I wouldn't say it was his favorite,
but it makes it out as.
I really enjoy it because it humanizes Jesus, which he should be humanized because he's God made flesh. So he should be human, and it does a really good job. And when Mary comes into the equation, his mother Mary, Virgin Mary, it really does a good job of showing Jesus as a son of Mary, not just Jesus as a teacher and our Savior, but as a real son. And it's got some like shocking humor in it, not like shocking, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that, but like, oh my gosh, that's funny, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's what a mother would do. That's
what a son would say. That's what a mother would do. And I never pictured Mary as short, so that is fun for me as a short person to see
Mary.
As Mary is like 2 feet shorter than her son.
That's the one thing they got wrong is like the age of Mary, because
I don't know if they did. You got to figure if she was 15 when Jesus is born, when he's 35, she's still only 45, 50-ish.
No,
if he's 30, she's.
I suppose, but
if she's only 15 when he's born, so she's not.
I suppose.
And she's engaged to Joseph, so by the Jewish tradition that when she gets engaged, she must only be 12 or 13. So when was Jesus born? How long after that engagement before Joseph marries her? So, I mean, you don't really know how old she is, but she's young. And for some reason, 15 sticks in my head as how old she was, which culturally, for the Jewish culture at that time period, would make complete sense. So yeah, but it's fun to see that
Mm-hmm.
that interesting relationship, and you know that she's about the right age because they go and visit her friends at the wedding in Cana, and her best friend or close friend, her son is getting married, which is about the right
Yeah, about the right age there.
right
It's-
age.
It is. It's a very interesting, and they do a great job. So I've seen other versions of religious films where they humanize Jesus, but it's your buddy Jesus. Hey, how's it going? And that's not right either. This one does a great job of making him human, but at the same time, he's not.
Making
Like,
a divine human.
yeah, you definitely get that. Okay, no, this is someone special, and this is which is it is. It's a lot of fun.
And it really does a good job of depicting the apostles.
Mhm.
Because every other time I think of the apostles, like you see them as like these perfect people, but this actually depicts them as sinners.
Yeah,
and-
which I mean, the Bible definitely alludes to them being sinners, alludes to them being less than
less than
perfect,
perfect.
less than perfect.
But this is a very good representation of that, like a visual, like you can see that they're not.
Yeah, and even their interactions, which apparently season 2 we're going to hit more of the interactions between the disciples, because except at like the very end when you have in the Gospels talk about the strife with the apostles at the very end, where you have some fleeing for their lives, you have some just totally abandoning, you have some who lock themselves up. You don't really get that whole like
They didn't
With-
always agree.
with any group of people. I mean, what's the there's an inspirational speaker I sat through said, if you ever want to start a fight, sit down. I think he had 10 like-minded best friends, sit them down, and then order pizza and watch the fight begin. Well, you can only order 2 pizzas. That's what it is. 2 pizzas for 10 friends who have been friends for life. They have the same views, the same likes. They've known each other since childhood. They're all in their 20s. Have them order pizza and watch the fight begin, because there's always, that group dynamic where you have. And
No, I want this. I want that.
I want this. No, I don't want pineapple on my pizza. What are you nuts?
Well,
Why
then get
can't?
half and half. Well, you can't
You
have
can't
half
have
and half
half 'cause
because
you're-
it's still the grease still leaks
Yeah,
out.
your olives will definitely, they will infect my pizza.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to say it, you can see your boots in this photo just a little bit.
Oh, my cute boots.
They are cute boots. They're very beautiful boots. Tractor Supply. We do actually pimp out Tractor Supply. They,
My nice boots.
yep.
These are
Little-
my taking care of the chickens, rabbits, or anything
Now we can't
else.
see them, so you gotta kick the other foot up there. Yeah.
Yeah, those my cute little boots.
Cute little boots.
For $10, I think. $10.
Which we definitely have to get them all their sorrels and shit kickers.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I do. I would highly recommend the series Chosen, whether you're Catholic or Baptist or Methodist or whatever.
It is
flavor.
kind of a Christian. I'll
It
go
would
Christian
definitely
based.
just be Christian based. I don't. It's not specifically Catholic, I would say.
No, and even our priest who's doing this Chosen as a Lent series, which we can't go to, unfortunately. He has it at 9 o'clock on Wednesdays, which we then go to co-op at 10 o'clock on Wednesdays. But our priest has extended I'm going to call it an olive branch, or an offer that he's willing to come and
Do a private teaching.
do a
with
private
the kids
teaching
and-
with the kids, because he's super amped that I hate to say it, this might become a Lenten tradition to just watch Chosen.
I
'cause-
think so. I think this is going to be a Lenten tradition to go through the Chosen, and I think they'll keep adding series or seasons.
They very well might. I know they got kind of hit with the
I
beer
was-
flu scheduling. So
Yeah, I was told we were supposed we should end Lent like Holy Thursday with the Passion of Christ. I have never seen that movie.
that's a horrible movie.
And
It's-
I haven't seen it, but it sounds brutal, and I'm not sure I really think the kids are ready for that. Now I might watch it this year for the first time just to see it, but I don't think I'm gonna have the kids watch it.
Apparently, we need to watch the Ten Commandments.
The
'cause
Ten
that was-
Commandments, yeah, that was recommended.
I've watched parts of that one. I have not
I
watched
haven't
the
really
whole,
seen that one. No.
whole Ten Commandments.
We did
Good.
last year, I think, for Lent. The kids watched a series on Formed about Jesus and Stephen,
Mhm.
and that was really intense for an
Yeah.
animated cartoon. Like pretty brutal, I think, if I recall, because I think it shows the stoning of the first martyr of Stephen, Saint Stephen.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to. But what's really neat is our local priest here is gathering the Bible verses that are reflected in each episode, which I think would be really nice.
Yeah.
Next year to like, okay, let's read this Bible verse, and what do you kids think? Do you think this actually did it justice? Like, here's the Bible verse. Do you think that it? I mean, we're not doing that this year. We're going in with the whole.
Let's just watch it.
Let's just watch it. Let's be the novice.
And interpretation afterwards.
Yeah, I've never talked about this on the videos, but when you watch a video, I'm a big fan of just being in the moment with the video. Watch the video in the moment. What are your feelings? What are your thoughts? And then you watch it again and try to find hidden details, which is one I found on accident. Well, not an accident. That just shows I'm good with watching videos. So on the season 1, episode 8.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're
Season
right.
1, episode 8. There is an Easter egg put in there. I'm saying it's on purpose.
I don't know. Like
yeah,
I
it's-
can't tell.
So what it is
You have to have subtitles on.
Yeah, you gotta have subtitles on. It happens in the last like 2 minutes of the video. What happens is it's with the Samaritan at the well when Jesus goes and talks to her and relays all his sins and basically tells her, okay, listen, go tell everyone your friend that, yep, I have come and here's the proof, and she's
And
all
makes his
about
ministry public.
makes his ministry public. And you have Simon, who is very much Simon throughout this entire season. He is like, so this is it. We're going. We're this is
She
us.
can tell others?
She can tell others. We can tell others. We're going public. He's all excited, and at the very last thing he says, he yells, "Yes!" And it's in subtitles, and it refers to who said it, and it says Peter ... Yes, which Simon, if you know your Bible verse, Simon is eventually becomes Peter. But it's neat that now that that's a public sermon, he's changed. He's
now that it's officially Jesus has made public his ministry and his miracles. Because before that he's
everything's in secret.
It's not in secret, but he doesn't want people to
He doesn't want them to
pass it
know.
around.
Yeah.
So yeah,
If not now, when?
not now.
That's one of the jokes actually in there is during the wedding of Cana, because that was kind of a fun start.
And I don't know if that's true that was Mary's friend, but that would make sense then why Mary was actually at the wedding.
I think that was Mary's friend. That was that's probably.
And it might actually be her
historically correct.
sister. Historically, Salome was her sister.
It could be. But yeah. So anyhow, they have earlier where they find Jesus in the temple, and he's all like, "Well, if not now, then when, mother?" And then like later on in the episode, the wedding of Cana, he's like, "Well, you got to help him out, get wine." And he's like, "It's not my time." And she's like, "If not now, then when?" Like, that's such a motherly thing. Like, you threw this in my face when you were 12. Guess what?
Yeah.
If not now, then when, Jesus? Oh, hell, all right, my mom's right. Which, again, leads to that really good...
But it also leads to his apostle, because that's where Thomas comes in. And
But it more cinematically, like, that's what like a mother would do. Like, do you remember when you were 12 and you're all like, well, if not now, then when, mother? Oh, yeah, you got me. I'm sure this won't come back to bite you in the keister. Well, if not now, then when, Jesus? Which is pretty cool to see, so.
that was.
But anyway, I think we're going like an hour and a half on this video. This is going to be a long...
You should definitely
hard
just
one
do this as 2, because The
It
Chosen
can't
should
be.
have been a separate.
It can't be. We just... Maybe I'll cut into 2. We'll cut off. We'll pretend that the video didn't catch for we put the kids to bed, because that was all curriculum based before we jumped into Jesus. And we'll do part 2 is Jesus, Lent, and Chosen.
Well, you did talk about the curriculum at the beginning of it.
I did. So
Not much, though.
No.
It's really focused on Jesus and The Chosen.
So anyway, folks, I think we're gonna end it here. My cigar is almost done. My wife's freezing cold, and the fire's dying down. So I hope you got something out of this. Maybe we'll do 2 parts. We'll do curriculum, and then we'll do Jesus and Lent, which is unfortunate because I don't think I can post that one before Lent is over. So it'll be a post-Lent video. Because that's just, if you gotta do a 2-part, we run out of videos here. So
Well, you could do the Lent one before you do the curriculum.
maybe I'll do the curriculum one, and then on Easter I'll post this one. Just do a special Easter video.
Maybe you could just post this one and do the curriculum next.
Oh, that's out of order. I don't know if that's allowed. I'll put a definite disclaimer at the beginning there that this is gonna be choppy. Anyhow, we'll figure that
Alright,
out. That's
anyway.
my my burden to bear. So, hope everyone's staying safe out there, and we'll see you on the next one.